Welcome, everyone. This is Madhog the Master, and tonight I am joined by longtime companion, not often seen companion.
HedonisticActor.
Yes, wait for your turn. I wasn't done yet. Jeez, you're worse than Ross. Okay. You're worse than Ross and Devar. Everyone, nobody respects their turn anymore. I'm surrounded by. Anyway. Tonight we are reading something, apparently, because that's what we usually do when we get together. We either read something or we comment on something that has to be seen. That was a very weird way to put it, but that's what we do.
Oh yes, and do I introduce what we are about to read?
Well, since you chose it, as usual, then I guess yes.
Well, okay. Well, today's fic is Dead Man's Logic by Asa Sanderson, and it's a Final Fantasy VI fanfic,
Dead.
I assume you don't like the game?
Now I'm making Wookiee noises to emphasize how much I don't care for Final Fantasy.
Have you played any of the games?
Well, yes, of course I did. Otherwise I wouldn't be so about it.
Well, Final Fantasy VI is one of the better ones in that series.
I
have played only that.
Completely and utterly beg to differ for a long list of variety of reasons. An extremely long list that I don't want to cover here, but everything can be basically condensed on two major problems. A completely uninteresting and reactionary main character, and the worst villain ever. Done. This breaks the game for me.
Yeah, well, to be fair, she was used by an evil emperor like for 18 years of her life, and yeah, well, it's certainly a problem that the game never tells what happened during that time when she was used by the empire. It would have been really
the problem is that she gets carried by everyone else in the party, and she doesn't really choose to do anything for herself. She just gets carried by the plot from start to finish, up until her whole point of existing has been, done and dealt with, and the rest of the game can be played without her. So, most useless main character ever, I want to say. I mean,
the game can't really decide who its main character is supposed to be.
Yes, that's a problem. And then there's the villain, Kefka. Okay, let me put it this way. You have an evil for the sake of being evil villain, which I don't actually have a problem with. He does a lot of hideous and horrible things. And the problem is that the entire time he does those horrible things, supposedly horrible things, he destroys the world, he's acting like the Joker. And I am not meaning Mark Hamill's Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, or any of the Jack Nicholson's Joker, or any of the Jokers you can take seriously. He's acting like 1960s Joker. He's just completely ridiculous, and I cannot take his evilness serious for 1 second. He's at best a comic relief villain. A comic relief villain that gets to be the ultimate destructor of the world, and then after he destroys the world, he just stands into his tower waiting for the party to come there and kill him. That's not good storytelling. I'm sorry, but Final Fantasy VI fails for me, as well as all other Final Fantasy games, except for 9. I really like 9.
9 is the best.
I really like 9. Yes, 9 is the best, and it's also the most underrated for some reason. Oh, 9 is the best. It has the best characters, the best way to implement these characters inside a narrative, the most promising from a thematic standpoint, and even the villain, as campy as he is, actually makes sense wanting to destroy the world. Why? Because suddenly he has become mortal, and it makes sense in with what the character was up until that point, that he would just lose his mind completely. At least it's a reason to snap and wanting to destroy the world. Not like, say, Ultimatia that comes out and says, I'm destroying the universe because reasons. Jesus. Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy, everybody, in a nutshell. I am destroying the universe because reasons. Come and stop me. The end.
Yeah, I have played only the first 9, so I don't know how the series goes beyond that.
Well, it was already downhill. Honestly, okay. Here's the thing: I never liked Final Fantasy. I mean, I tried. I played a few of them. I played 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 13. Notice what my voice sounds like when I mention 2 particular numbers. There is a reason for that. So
8 had good ideas, but it was just too pretentious.
Well, it's not. Well, it's not exactly pretension. Believe it or not, is not the problem. Usually, it becomes a problem from 7 and beyond. But before that, it's just that the characters are not really all that good to begin with. I mean, I understand people who grew up with that; they have nostalgia about it, and from a gaming standpoint, there was basically nothing like that at the time. But playing this game in a modern times, you notice how really bad all those dialogues have aged, and how this story doesn't really hold up thematically or structurally speaking. So maybe unfair from my point to judge them, well, with a modern mindset, but people, it's just that I think it's just as fair as to judge them with rose-tinted glass now, isn't it?
Okay, but maybe we should go to the today's recap.
So we spent what the first seven minutes rambling incoherently about reasons not to enjoy Final Fantasy. Perfectly viable reasons, might I add, that are very unpopular, but still. Okay, so before I groan like a Wookiee stuck in our Wrangler, the second you mentioned Final Fantasy, what were you saying about this fanfiction?
Yeah, Dead Man's Logic, well, it continues right after the end of the game, and it focuses on the main villain Kefka, and so if you folks out there haven't played Final Fantasy VI, then this is going to be quite spoilerific. So consider.
You mean
more.
You mean to tell me that this story is going to be about Kefka?
Yeah, after the end of the game.
I am done. Bye. I don't even want to know. Why did I even agree to do this? This is the worst idea since the invention of worst ideas.
Hey, think about it. What do you think, Audius? Are his reactions genuine, or is he just acting all ragey? You decide.
I just realized there are guards set outside of my door, preventing me from leaving my house.
But think positively. Kefka is just all large ham kind of greater than life kind of guy, so there's plenty of opportunities for acting all our hamminess up.
Only if I get to play as Kefka.
Well, okay, we can do it at least for the first chapter. It's from the first point of view.
Because apparently this masterpiece has multiple chapters. Forgive me if I do not seem impressed. Or if I seem to overly fake impressing for the sake of comedic value.
Okay,
which is the same as to say I'm not impressed at all, but I'm pretending to be for funsies. Okay then, so I'll begin narration then.
Okay.
This is going to be so much joy. Not. I'm going to go out on a limb here and give you some advice. If ever you find yourself sitting on the phantom train riding to the other side, in quotes, and you're possessed by some extraordinarily puerile desire to sneak into the engine room and start pulling the levers out of the wall and tearing the wiring apart just to see it all spark, make sure you know...
Yes, back.
Make sure you know who's riding with you first. If I'd bothered asking around a bit, I might have known Rexol was on the same train as me. Who's Rexol?
Wait. What chapter did you choose?
The first one.
Chapter
yes.
1? Okay.
Obviously. I mean, Donald's stories tend to begin with chapter 1.
Yeah, Rex... Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, I took a word. Oh, yeah, Rexo was a boss in the original game, but his...
I don't remember anyone from that
his
game.
nature... Yeah, but his nature is explained later. But do continue.
If I have to. And then I'd have known he'd escape when that damn train derailed, and then perhaps I would have thought about that while I was standing in the phantom train's engine room with tangled broken wire clenched in my pale fists. I still would have turned it up. If I hadn't been dead already, I don't think I would have survived the crash. 1 minute, I was shredding everything that I could get my hands on. The next, there was smoke everywhere, and the wheels of the train were screeching, and I was thrown out of the cab and into the phantom forest. I smacked into a tree before falling to the ground. Wait, isn't he a ghost?
Yeah, in the end of the... Or if you remember the ending of the game, Kefka died.
Actually, yes, I know that. I was asking, if he's a ghost, how can he smack into a tree? He should go through it.
Yeah, it is explained that the ghost can become tangible in this story. Author explains this in her notes. I assume it's her, but...
Yeah. I don't buy it. I kicked in when I stood up, but that didn't accomplish much, so I took a look around. The phantom train, laying in a heap by this time, crunched into the tracks like a broken caterpillar, white smoke wafting from its window. I had to let the vision sink in. First day of my death, and I'd already broken something. It was so funny that I nearly doubled over with laughter. He's the freaking Joker! God! Ugh.
Although to be fair, the 1960 Joker didn't kill as much people.
That's it! That's the problem! Like, it's a matter of context. In the context of the classic Batman show, which, by the way, has finally gotten a Blu-ray release, that Joker, makes sense. It's funny. In the context of a self-important fantasy epic, not so much.
Yeah, I agree on that. Call me heretic, audience, if you will, but I think Gestahl was more interesting villain than Kefka.
Who?
Emperor Gestahl was Kefka's employer.
Oh yeah, that one. The problem with Gestahl is that it was extremely generic. Like extremely generic. You look at the dictionary, the word stereotypical tyrant / villain / oppressor, you see the guy's picture on it. Not impressed. It really wouldn't work as a main villain because of how much generic he was. Anyway,
okay. So I'm that character. That laugh.
From the wreckage, a violet, luminescent mist had begun to rise. It straightened into a tall, shrouded form.
I've heard that laugh so many times in so many nightmares.
Its yellow eyes narrowed.
I didn't know I had the honor of riding the Phantom train with Kefka Palazzo.
Oh yes, because his full name is Kefka Palazzo. Most ridiculous name ever.
Apparently in Italian, Palazzo means heavenly. Or so I've heard.
No. In Italian, Palazzo means, well, a huge royal building. It means manor. That's what it means, Palazzo. So basically, the guy's name is Manor. Kefka the building. I am so impressed, guys. Like, you wouldn't know. I brushed off my robes, which were still covered in tree bark, and looked the ghost over. Ha! Who are you?
Who are we, perhaps, being a better question?
Actually, you should do the voice of Adam West.
Well, you do know acting is more than just funny voices.
We are reading a Final Fantasy VI fanfiction.
Okay, well, I tried to do Adam West. Okay, continue.
Yes?
He folded his hands. The only name I was known by in my living dead being Rex Soul.
Aha! My name's suddenly being Kefka, but how did you know that?
Did you think there was an undead soul who didn't tremble at its mere mention?
Oh my gosh.
Seeing as how you...
finish Batman, everyone.
Okay. Seeing as how you sent nearly every one of us to this living hell which we now inhabit, and now how it was you who populated this train and its destination with the souls of the innocent and unavenged?
He shrugged his draped shoulders.
Nightmares, as I said before. I once haunted Doma. Surely you remember Doma, an entire kingdom murdered by your poisoning hands.
I don't remember this guy at all.
He was just a mere boss in the game, but now his role is extended in this fanfic.
Matti, I'm telling you, I'm already super utterly bored and unengaged by this story. I don't think we're going to read more than one chapter. Sorry, it just doesn't grip me at a fundamental level. I'm just so utterly opposed to the source material, I don't even want to expand on it. Sorry.
Okay, but let's read this chapter at least. Or we can change the roles.
He saw I wasn't going to grace him with a response yet, so he continued. Oh, wait, you read... No, wait, I think you read this already. Or not.
I didn't. I once haunted Doma, a lone spirit, but soon others joined me. Others who had been felled by your hand, and the hands of your dictatorial predecessors. Yes, I am the multitude of lost warriors whose lives were destroyed, in the most literal senses, by the inane and inhumane wars that people like you imposed upon us. Known only as Rex Soul, we haunted Doma, looking for more souls to devour, more battle-scarred lies to swallow into the abyss of ourselves. And it was there, from the huge trackling vagrants who dared enter the haunted city, that we learned of your name. In their minds, we heard your laugh, your mournful laugh of agony. I heard it over and over, echoed in so many souls.
Welcome everybody to Purple Prose 101. Yes, this summarizes it. Do I even need to expand on this? I had the feeling these dialogue lines have been written for the specific purpose of showcasing the writer's ability of writing and polluted as much as possible with words and sentences just to make you see how good of a writer she is. It's the writing equivalent of a scene from a Michelangelo Antonioni's film. It lingers and it goes on just to showcase how much of a virtuoso the author is.
Well, if I remember correctly, I think Rexall is the only character who speaks like this.
I most certainly hope so, because if this becomes a trend, then you have a bunch of completely unrelatable, non-compelling characters, and therefore a completely not enjoyable story. And I'm already sick of these guys talking anyway. I mean, just every line of his dialogues are like a small paragraph in their own right, which is really annoying. Which you promptly sucked like the self-righteous leech that you are. Look, this conversation is getting boring. We must eliminate Batman from the scene. Is there anything specific that you had to tell me?
I wanted to ask you why you destroyed the Phantom Train.
Really? The seats were uncomfortable.
Your only reason for destroying the train and...
Okay, that was sort of clever.
Your only reason for destroying the train and trapping the souls therein in limbo for perhaps an eternity was that you thought the seats were uncomfortable?
And you killed the joke. You should have left it hanging in the air. In awkward silence. That would have been funny. But now, by continuing this, you killed the joke. Sorry. Comedy 101, kids! Sometimes less is more. Anyway, I didn't think the seats were uncomfortable. The seats were uncomfortable and flimsy. The metal was flimsy. There were holes in the floorboard. The wiring was half stripped. I'm having a sense of deja vu. Hasn't he said that already in his mind? A couple of, at the beginning of the story.
Noticed
That's the beginning of the story. He already said that. Already commented on this in his mind when he was doing the first-person narration. Now he's repeating that very same statements in dialogue form. Isn't that riveting?
This story wasn't as good as I remembered.
They often, if ever, tend to be. The metal was flimsy, there were holes in the floor, blah blah blah, and the widgets holding this rotting carcass of a vehicle together were ancient. They made it too easy for me. The temptation was too much to bear. So, does this story ever go anywhere aside from, the murder scene of Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yeah, in the next chapter, but...
No. Wow, the first chapter is about a train wreck and people discussing about the train wreck. That's the best way to start the story, really. That's so compelling. If it seems that I'm being, harsher than usual in my commentary about fanfictions, that's because, as I stated, I don't much care for the source material, so I am twice as grumpy. Apologies for that. And Matty's connection is once again going to the dogs. Yes?
Computer crashed. Oof.
Oh. I'm sorry, so you mean to tell me you lost all of your recording?
No, it's still going on. It just halted in its place. Okay, let's continue.
Okay, so let's continue. It was your turn, I think.
Drive you so...
Yes?
Drive you so greatly on destruction?
Talk you always this backwards? Making my head hurt, you are. And now everyone talks like Yoda, because that's going to help their case so much.
I see.
He tilted his shrouded head.
I shall have to kill you.
Well, at least he tells you in advance. I'm already dead, Brainiac.
Then I shall eat you.
I am not into that. This is not funny.
I shall devour your soul the way that I devoured the souls of those travelers. That way, you will be assimilated and entirely unable to cause harm to anyone else.
Insert obvious Star Trek The Next Generation reference here and scene. I didn't flinch as the violet vapor floated toward me. I put my hands on my hips, waited while he inched ominously forward, waited until he'd gotten about 2 feet away from me, and said, "You can't." He ignored the comment until he wrapped his filmy tendrils around me and found that I was right.
How can this be?
It is my secret weapon, Batman! Dun, 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 dun. You said you could only devour those who had been killed or scarred in some kind of war. I was killed because I fell off my tower. That means you can't devour me. That is the most nonsensical sentence ever written by human hands. What? What? What is this? What in the name of someone is this? How? Who could possibly thought this to be a good idea? How would that even make any sense? Seriously? A devourer of souls that cannot devour you because you didn't die for a trauma? What?
Yeah,
what logic is that?
Yeah, Rexall can only devour people who died in war, but...
This is stupid! This story is stupid! Final Fantasy VI is stupid! You're stupid for liking it! And I am pissing other people off, but I don't care, I'm on a tangent here. I am so biased against it. I am so utterly biased against it. You cannot take anything I'm saying seriously because I'm so biased against it.
The opera scene was cool. Our solemn promise, will I ever see you smile?
Where do you even find these fanfictions? Why do you even look for them?
It was recommended by TV Tropes in Final Fantasy VI's fanfic recommendations.
Who in their right minds gets himself recommended for anything by TV Tropes?
I don't know.
That makes even less sense than the soul devourer that cannot devour souls because they died in a specific technical way that prevents them to be devoured. Oh, jeez, I am so frustrated.
I am to understand that you were pushed off your tower by a former subordinate after one of her friends took a rather large piece out of your wing.
Took a rather large pizza out of your wing. I could go for pizza right now. I looked over my shoulder at the large pie-like slice in my feathery wings. He still has feathery wings, it seems. But that still wasn't a war, and now I'm imagining a weird crossing between the Joker and Sephiroth. It's awful. It shouldn't be allowed to exist. Seriously, why do all Final Fantasy bosses tend to grow wings at the end, in their final form?
It's meant to be symbolic how they have reached godhood and became power mad.
But that still wasn't a war. I mean, the people who came to kill me were in order to. They weren't in a... Oh my gosh, the technicality continues! It shouldn't... What is this? What is this? Soul devouring requires more bureaucratic nonsense than those aliens from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Wogons.
Jeez. Yes, those ones. They weren't an army, and they weren't under any kind of flag. Nobody dared oppose me but them. It wasn't a war. No, we just fought to the death. Totally a different thing than warring.
I am also to understand that you were created to be a human Magitech weapon.
Oh yes, Magitech. I have a faint memory of that.
Yeah, one not good thing about this Kefka's character is that we don't know what kind of person he was before he became evil.
It was the Joker. It was the transsexual, hyper campy, possibly homosexual version of the Joker. And also completely undignified. Seriously, have you seen how he dresses?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No fashion sense at all. Ugh, so dreadful, I tell you. It's like a blob between Harlequin, as in the puppet, the Joker, and what else? And what else? And Frankenfurter. No, not Frankenfurter. More like Pennywise. Yes.
Continue.
Yes, I was. Before the Empire started heavily using magic and picking fights with every little amulet he came across, that was preparation for war. Not war. Completely different argument. Can you sense the subtle hints of sarcasm in my voice, by the way?
Yeah, this is kind of...
This is kind of dumb. This is... And the more you try to justify it, the more you're trying to explain it, the more it becomes dumb. Like the ending of Interstellar. You know, for a film that prides itself to be as scientifically accurate as possible, humanity still ends up being saved by the power of love.
Well,
how do you scientifically process that, Christopher Nolan? God, I hate Christopher Nolan.
Well, love isn't really science. It's an emotion that cannot be explained.
No. That's the thing. They try to explain it scientifically that it's the power of love to save the humanity. And the more they try to explain it, the more it seems utterly idiotic. And that's what happens when you have a film that should be directed by Steven Spielberg, be directed by the guy who is incapable of having his own actors to show human emotions. Or being anything else but standing for random exposition dumps. Also, can we just say that Matthew McConaughey bad casting choice for this kind of film and role?
It was?
I mean, it was terrible casting choice. Why? Because Matthew McConaughey, sorry, I'm eating my own tongue, is really good when it comes to subtle performances that require a character to be really aloof, really reserved, and being subtle, basically. He's good at subtle performances, but a lot of moments in this film required him to be as emotionally opened as possible, and I'm sorry, but he is not the right guy for that. He is not. He is perfect for True Detective or for Killer Joe, but not for the father type. In fact, can we agree that Matthew McConaughey is like the creepiest father ever? Every time he hugs his daughter, I feel a cringe of a shiver running through my spine.
I never got that feeling out of him. But...
Well, I did, so that's further reason why Interstellar is not great. In fact, it's quite bad. And don't get me started on Hans Zimmerman's ridiculously one-note soundtrack. It's like it's trying so hard to rip off 2001: A Space Odyssey. At the same time, it's not trying hard enough to make actual sound. It's like,
Yeah, I'd like to debate about
that,
but
really
we
annoying.
are getting sidetracked.
I know we're getting sidetracked. I want us to get sidetracked. I want to literally talk about anything else than Final Fantasy VI. Even an obnoxious, pretentious mess as Interstellar. It's a favorable argument than this Final Fantasy VI fanfiction. And I am losing my mind here!
Well, yeah, well, we can change the roles for this final last...
Alright. So I'll be the worst soul devourer ever, and Matty will be the Joker. I mean,
Yes!
Kefka Palazzo.
Get your dirty
You
mummy
just-
wraps off me!
I think you just ruined my hearing faculties for the rest of my life. Thank you. Kefka Palazzo, because Kefka Palazzo is such a great name for a villain.
The fat.
It even rolls so well off the tongue. Kefka Palazzo. So pronunciation friendly. Not.
The Phantom strained his back and retracted his tendrils. Go on.
I cannot allow you to go back into society to create mischief. If I did that, others would suffer the same fate as I.
It's you. Not again.
Again, it just froze.
Your internet connection is the bane of my existence.
Yeah, and this computer just froze again. This is the. I have to record from my old computer because it has the better sound quality.
I thought you had a new computer.
Yes, but the new computer has the problem that it has only one microphone slash headphone holes, and this. And until I get a headphone that has a USB end, then this won't be a problem anymore. I can fully go to record from my new computer. Because, yeah.
Okay. You know what? Let's finish this because my patience has already worn thin, real thin. As at this point, as you can tell, I'm itching to. Yes. That tends to happen when the memory of something and the reality of it don't combine with each other well. In this case, your memory of this fanfiction and the reality of it being not all that enthralling to begin with.
Neat ideas,
and now I'm basically forming opinions on your behalf. That's how mad I am right now. That's how mad and insane I am right now. Madhog has gone full mad. Do you hear that, world? Madhog has gone full mad.
So are we going to finish? Oh yeah.
Yes. For the love of the Frankenfurter. Let's finish this.
Just few more rows.
Where are we? Oi! Oh, don't tell me! Not this again!
Okay, let's just finish this.
Yes, please.
Okay. You line.
Where? I'm sorry, where am I?
I cannot allow you to go back.
I don't know. Oh, there it is.
I cannot allow you to go back.
Oh, wait, I read this already. Let's proceed, please. Don't make me read the same line twice.
Don't tell me you want to fight.
I do not fight. I merely consume.
Boo!
Then how...
Boo! I am the Red Bull. I do not fight. I only conquer.
Then how exactly are you going to stop me?
With badly exchanged dialogues, obviously.
There was a glint of determination and utter hatred in his yellow eyes.
Any way that I can, Kefka. Any way that I can. I'm just going to bother you up until you want to kill yourself. Even though, and you can't because you're already dead. So this plan is bound to fail miserably.
He faced the totaled phantom train and then, looking at me over his shoulder one last time, trained by the burning dimless metal floated away through the forest. Amusing really that such an awful thing he could make trouble for me. Perhaps it was the insult that prompted me to follow him and make sure whatever plans he had for me fell through the instant they were conceived. I wasn't going to be harassed by a saintly soul-sucking scepter in my lifetime, or beyond it. I couldn't take the embarrassment. Of course, if I'd known then, darting through the snaggled trees and sloshing through the muck of the Phantom Forest, I was getting myself into, I might have left him alone and went into hiding instead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not funny.
And that was the first of the first chapter.
Alright, Kafka not only fails at being himself, he also fails at being the Joker because he is not funny! First of all. And second of all, I don't want to say this is the worst dialogue exchange ever, but since I'm furious, this is the worst dialogue exchange in the history of the world and the universe and fanfiction, and I hate it, I hate you, I hate the world, I hate Final Fantasy, I hate Kafka, I hate Palazzo, hide Il Palazzo!
Yeah, and for the audience we have had also some technical problems, so our rage is more exemplified.
I want to move! I rape you to spine and murder fatality and Final Fantasy! Screw that!
Yeah, Sephiroth is a better villain.
I fell down my chair.
Are you okay? Do you
I think so.
Do you need an ambulance?
No. I landed on my rather generous bum, so I'm mostly fine. Alright then. Thank you for joining us, everybody. This is being a now mostly drained Madhog Master, surviving the fall from the highest height of his mighty desk chair. And with no longer any damn to give to this story, I shall bid you goodbye.
And me as well.
And this has been Hedonistic Actor, which after this recording, he'll be changing his own name to Soulless Actor.
Oh. Hell hath no fury like Madhog.
So, this fanfiction is not the worst we've ever read, but it's the most infuriating because today I happen to be insane. So that tends to happen, you know? Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you decide, hey, you know what? Today I'm totally and utterly insane. So this happened, and so the story happened across, and I read it. And suddenly all I can think of is Interstellar and the power of love. Which saves humanity. The power of freaking love saves humanity. In a film supposedly about scientific accuracy and space travel. That wanted to impress so much the guy who made Cosmos. Yes, it's a smart film, alright. If you never ever think about anything in your life, that is. So the moral of the story is Interstellar is bad. Final Fantasy is bad. This fanfiction is bad. Your face is bad. My life is bad. The human brain is bad. Your connection is the worst of all.
Yeah.
Your computer is even worse than that.
Yeah.
And screw my life. Screw my brain cells. Screw having autonomous thoughts. It's overrated, trust me. And screw the freaking chair and the floor in which I landed with my rather generous bum. Dear Lord, this has been... I think I am. You know, I find myself at this point in which I can no longer tell if I'm just overreacting and overacting for the sake of comedic value, or if I am genuinely gone off the band insane. I should be worried when that time comes. It tends to happen. You know, I plan to do something for comedic purpose, like overreacting Final Fantasy, ew! But then, something happens and I am no longer able to distinguish genuine madness from overacting. I'm in that phase right now. This is what happens when Madhog goes fully mad. It's not a pretty sight.
Yeah.
You cannot see it, but it's not a pretty sight.
Yeah, when I go mad, my brain just goes numb, and I just takes all my energy.
There is an explosion, like atomic explosion, and fire and brimstone, and then there is the cold of the post-apocalyptic nuclear winter.
Yeah.
So basically, my brain is Fallout free.
Yeah, I think we should go to bed now.
Yeah, actually,
Right.
it's still early for me, but I definitely see your point. We need to stop this. I don't even know what I'm going to title this recording. It's not a dramatis lectio. It stopped to be as soon as as I found out this was Final Fantasy related. I think I'm just going to title this Madhog Goes Fully Mad.
Yeah.
And it's going to be my 500 subscription special for my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! Now that's something to remember me by. Going mad.
Okay.
Hog. Huh?
Yeah.
I want my mommy.